Hey guys, this is Dagon123, and welcome to
Tenchiforum.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very impromptu but very exciting TenchiCast special, presented by Tenchiforum.com. As an update, Tenchi Muyo Love's website has gone live, and with it going live, the character designs and overall theme of the show have been announced, and the fandom has been ablaze with speculation and fervor. With me today I have Chuckles.
Hola, amigos.
Crazed.
What's up?
Pie.
Bueno.
Kiyami.
Hey guys.
Who.
Hello, people of the internet. What's up?
And Nil.
Gordon, here's how it is. You know Albert.
Just as a foreword to everyone listening, we will be posting in the YouTube version showing pictures of the new characters. As well, you can go into the link below and click on the news article that we have put up on Tenchiforum.com showing you some of the new designs if you're only listening through audio. But basically, we're just going to talk about the new updates, and here are, for those of you who can't see it, here's what is happening. The big buzz is the director for Tenchi Muyo Love, Tenchi Muyo, has been announced, and it is none other than Tenchi Universe's Hiroshi Negishi returning to the franchise to direct the series. And the designs are being headed by Suzuhito Yasuda, known for a number of anime, including Durarara. And it has just been a whirlwind of, looking at all of what the other sites have to say and how people are reacting. So, just general discussion. What does everybody think?
Well, I'm excited because, first off, my director is back, because Hiroshi Negishi has actually directed a couple shows that I liked, Tekken and Blade being one of them, but also he's the director of Tenchi Universe, and it's been well documented that Tenchi Universe is an episodic series, so since this Tenchi Muyo is going to be highly episodic, being 55-minute episodes, Negishi's already proven his chops that he can do such a thing. Moreover, he's worked with the Tenchi property before. Also, I'm ecstatic. I'm just pleased. Again, Tenchi Universe is the one is the continuity that spawned 2 of the 3 movies. So it's entirely possible that if this series does well, Negishi could stay on and do other series, maybe a traditional 26 episode, 20-minute per series. Hell, he might even get a couple movies out of it. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Well, I just now heard about this. Hopping in here. My hands are shaking. I can't even keep still. I've never, out of all the cool things that have happened in this fandom and how long I've been in it, for some reason this blows me away. Knee-jerk reaction more than anything, and I mean in a good way. I mean this is awesome. And here we got Negishi as the director. I'm like, hallelujah, yes, here we go. We're gonna have like a revamped. It's gonna be like Tenchi Universe Light or something with the locales for tourism thrown in there. But then I see the who's behind the character designs, and it's the man behind Durarara. A huge fan of his work, but just never in all my years would I guess those two things being paired. Because like I said, and in my mind that's like quote unquote newer. I absolutely love Tenchi, and in my mind, it's kind of quote-unquote, it's classic, it's aged, it's older. And to have these things combined, though, it's almost as if I think I had said this before when I was not recording my knee-jerk reaction to it. Of course, I was like, it's as if it would be as if I woke up one day and all of a sudden, we're in 2014 and there's flying cars now, and I'm going, wait, what? There's flying cars now? I mean, sure, that was that thing we had always talked about, like, yeah, wouldn't that be great? Or, yeah, we're going to get around to that. But just never in my mind really connecting the dots, like, yeah, that's going to happen someday. And here it is, what we have been clamoring about, I think even at multiple times in this humble podcasts that we've all been a part of over the years and have loved doing have battered around back and forth is like, what if Tenchi got revamped? What if it got rebooted? What if it got an updated look for new audiences or for younger viewers or for people coming in, unfortunately, that have the view of like, oh, something's older than 2004. I'm absolutely not going to watch it. Well, here you go. Here you go. It's I have no idea right now how, because again, the guy behind Durarara, behind something with Tenchi, again, Negishi's the director, so I feel assured there. But, as far as what's the actual premise going to be, how close to Tenchi is that going to be, now all bets are off. I just have no idea. I will react to that as it comes, and we'll keep you posted on that. But as for right now, I'm just, like I said, I'm just, for the first, 20 minutes, words escape me. I'm just like, guys, this is happening. I'm telling everybody about it. And, but I'm really excited that that here we finally have it. That thing that we've just been talking about forever of what if that happened, and it's happening here. Tenchi's gotten a updated makeover in a big way, and so I'm hoping that this is going to catch people's attention. The people that, like I said, sadly, and no offense to you guys, but you're missing out on great stuff when you have the viewpoint of like, oh, that's old. I'm not going to watch that. I literally know people, and I've had people, and I've tried to tell them about, hey, Tenchi's a cool series, you should check it out. Oh, okay. And then they Google it, and they see how old it is. Nah. Well, here you go. We pretty much giving it to you on a silver platter here. I'm hoping that it's the goodness that we've come to know and love with Tenchi, and it's got that updated look that's going to draw in people. Obviously, ANN's posting about it, and of course, we have our finger on the pulse here about it. But Yasuda, sorry, his name was escaping me. Him, and of course Negishi as well. But the guy behind Durarara and Bakano, that's going to catch people's attention. Even people way outside of the sphere of Tenchi, that's going to catch attention, and it's going to bring eyes to it. And I think it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it now, and I think I've said this a lot. Oh, I'm on pins and needles. I can't wait. Now I really am. I just can't wait. This is going to be awesome.
Definitely looking forward to Tenchi Muyo Love more now. Art style's a little bit is definitely different than what we've been used to. It's nothing like it was back in the 90s. It's not even like it was during GXP and OVA 3, which thank God for that one. But when I first saw the news, when I saw that Negishi was back in the director's chair, I was like, wow, they went so far as to bring back Universe's director. That you can tell that they definitely put some thought behind this. They care about this one, and just basing it off the art style alone, like I said, it's different, and it's not enough to turn me away from it. Negishi being there definitely helps for me. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if it turns out to be bad, then whatever. But I'm going to give it a shot first. I gave OVA 3 and GXP a shot, and so I'm definitely going to give this one a shot.
The first thing, it's funny, I was sitting in here, and Crazed jumped in, and he tells me, he's like, so, Dagon, do you know who the director is? And I said, no, I don't know. What's going on? And he said, Hiroshi Negishi, and my jaw hit the floor. I was, as soon as I saw that, I knew that the show was something that the people working on it wanted it to be good. Even though it is only 50 5-minute episodes, it's still a series that they are loving, and Pi brought up a good point saying that maybe this is the precursor to another set of Tenchi series spawning off from it. In my mind, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. We look at this, they have Inoue as the lead, the guy who's spearheading the project. They're bringing in a new guy. They're bringing in Suzuhiro Yasuda, who is a fantastic designer, and he's more known in contemporary anime than to older fans, which I think is good, because the whole point of this project is to bring people in, is to be an advertisement. And I think that's what they're banking on doing, not just to have Okayama Prefecture get a lot of publicity, but also because AIC now, quote unquote, as we know maybe, owns Tenchi again, or AIC is owned by themselves again. So they're now trying to put out their properties. They're trying to get themselves out there. You know, AIC is working on a number of different projects right now, and they haven't worked on a whole lot in the last 5 or 6 years. You know, they've been very dormant because of the legal ramifications and stuff they've had to go through the last, a decade really. And now that they're free, so to speak, they can now kind of, they're trying to put their feet back in the water. And I think their flagship series, Tenchi Muyo, is the first thing to try to do that with. They're now on social media. They're on Twitter. Twitter is huge in Japan. Like it is the social network in Japan. They're doing everything in their power to get this series out there, because in my mind, they're using this, I don't think an excuse is the right word, but they're using it as a bobber in the water to say, look, if we can get enough people to get hyped about this show, then we can justify then to investors or other people funding the shows that another Tenchi series is worth putting out there. Because I seriously doubt that this series is going to be the last from Tenchi. And I definitely don't think it will be the only one that we'll be seeing with... maybe it will be the only one we'll see with Negishi again. But I think that this series will only lead to bigger and better things.
Indeed, I want to piggyback off of what Dagon and Craze were saying. I think this may not be the best Tenchi Muyo series we have seen, or are likely to see in a while, but it might very well be the most important one for the reasons that Dagon just listed. This is the flagship. They're bringing it back. Right out of the gate, AIC is bringing out its big guns with Tenchi Muyo. So to see the success, hopeful success of this show, this could be opening the door to countless possibilities, both Tenchi and not. Hell, we may see some more classic 90s AIC material being brought back if this is successful. El Hazard, for example. So this is big. The show itself, I'm certainly hopeful for its quality, but the representation of what this show could be, that's what I'm really excited. Also, to sort of jump on what Craze was saying, it struck me as very interesting that this is still being billed under the 20th anniversary of Tenchi Muyo. Yet, as we all know, it's almost 2 years past that anniversary. So, like, what anniversary are they celebrating? It looks to me, especially now that they've brought Negishi back, they might just be celebrating generally Tenchi Muyo, trying to hit more for the universe anniversary than for the OVA anniversary. And if that's the case, that is certainly very interesting, because that means they're going back to the spin-offs rather than the original material, and that's certainly going to be causing quite a bit of discussion, shall we say, among the larger fandom of Tenchi Muyo. But I think it's something that we've not had in a while, and it's gonna be really nice to see how it works out. So I am fingers crossed all the way. I'm actually gonna go out on a limb and say that I actually kind of like designs. They could have been a lot worse, in my opinion, and they actually look pretty. I mean, I don't want to say good, because they're not going to be the originals. Nothing will ever touch the 1990s designs, but they look distinctive compared to many other shows today, and for that, I mean, I can't be anything but grateful.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna miss the original characters and designs, but at the same time, I like the new designs. It looks awesome, and I don't know. I kind of think that Tenchi kind of needs a bit of a reboot, kind of like freshen it up a bit. So maybe that will lead to this will lead to that, or and maybe we'll see Ryoko and the others in the series. But I'm really excited for all this new stuff.
God, I feel like it's one of those Reese's Cup commercials. I literally feel like that. Like, I'm just walking along. I got my Tenchi, everything's going good, and then boom, I run into somebody around the corner, and it's like, "Hey, you got Durarara on my Tenchi," and they're like, "Well, you got Tenchi all over my Durarara." And then hopefully the end result's gonna be like Reese's peanut butter. It's like, oh my God, why didn't somebody do this sooner? It's amazing.
It is a breath of fresh air. No more we're not seeing hobgoblins, okay? We're seeing a fresh design, a fresh take on Tenchi Muyo, and that's what it needs. And just to You know, right now the first art that they're showing is of Tenchi and 2 other girls, but they'll show the other girls. The reason that they're showing these girls first is because they want people to get hyped about these characters as much as they do the new girls, or the old girls, because everybody loves the old girls. Everybody will want to see the old girls, and the old girls will be in there, guaranteed. They wouldn't call it an anniversary celebration of the franchise of Tenchi Muyo as a whole if they weren't going to put the Tenchi girls in there. They're putting these new girls up front and forward because they want these new girls to you know, have a chance. They want these new girls to not get left to the wayside while everybody runs back to the characters they love, and that's fine. I'll be running back to Ryoko as soon as I see her, and Ayaka and Sasami. It'll be great. It'll be great to see the characters again. But the new designs, these new girls, we haven't seen anything from them yet. We've only seen their designs. But it'll be a fun series. It just looks fun already, and it's the designs are really nice and they're refreshing, and that's something that Tenchi needs. That's one thing I've also liked as I've looked on Crunchyroll and stuff and other places. For as many people who say, you know, where are the girls at? There are just as many people saying, oh my god, I love Yasuda's designs and I love the way he designs characters. There was one person on ANN who even said, I didn't like the Tenchi franchise, but I love Yasuda's designs, so I'm going to check it out because of that. That's a big deal.
While in the background here, I've been putzing around looking up Negishi stuff because a lot of people were asking, well, Negishi hasn't done anything lately. What's he been doing? So I actually went to ANN, essentially brought up his CV, and started listing off all of his stuff, which unfortunately is in alphabetical order, so I went back and put it in chronological order. Negishi has been actually pretty busy from 1987 all the way up to about 2006, and then he kind of dropped off the map for about 8 years. They went and got a guy who has been kind of putzing around doing his own thing for a while, for 8 years, away from anime, and brought him back to make some Tenchi. That's impressive. That's impressive. I approve of this. Now, moreover, getting back to character designs, I really like the fact that they made Tenchi a student teacher in this. A lot of people were kind of saying he has a new design. His hair's a little longer. Again, he's drawn by a different artist. He's also wearing glasses. But I'm finding it interesting that they're making him a student teacher because this means the other 2 girls, I'm assuming, are his students from their school uniforms, as school uniform-y as they are. But Tenchi is a student teacher, which means he has to be at least in his mid-20s. He'd have to be in college to be a student teacher by this point, which means that he's going to be significantly older than them, which brings up some interesting speculation as to what the plot could be, as to what his relationship with these 2 girls are, as well as what his relationship to the original girls might be by this point. I have been speculating in the back of my head, just kind of headcanon right now, as to if this could possibly be a sequel to possibly Tenchi Universe or Tenchi in Tokyo at this point.
I'm not sold that it will be a continuation, but it is very interesting that he is now significantly older than he was in any of the other shows where he was, 16, 17 years old. He was in high school, In Tokyo, we saw him leaving to go to the big school, he was getting a little bit older there. Here, he's a student teacher. He's older. He's got some extra years under his belt. He's obviously advanced a little bit compared to his original self. Whether there's any connections to old series or not will have to remain to be seen. But I'm very excited to see what happens because Negishi was brought back. Negishi. This man was in charge of and directed Universe and its 2 movies to becoming what is essentially the flagship of the series. We like to imagine, the OVA series was what got everybody in. But over time, I've come to notice that more often than not, it's Universe that fans tend to remember. And this may just be a bias because I run into a lot of folks who saw things for the first time on, Toonami. And, that was obviously a very popular one there. So it had more screen time compared to the OVA, as the OVA only had a handful of episodes compared to Universe's. So, it could just be a bias there, but Universe meant something to people. It was very special. It was obviously the best spinoff that the show's had. It was an incredible thing. As Pi here, all of his creative works spin off of that version, that alternate universe of Tenchi. It did something for so many people, and Negishi's direction, I believe, was a huge part of that. So I think it was very important that AIC thought, who are we going to get to direct this series and make Tenchi something again? And they said, Negishi, we need you. And he said yes. That's huge. And I'm very excited because the universe and the two movies, they have a lot going on under the surface. For the fact that they were TV shows, for the fact that they had to kind of rush through some things to get to get things explained and plot done and whatnot, he did a fantastic job doing everything that he needed to do in a kind of cramped television style. This will be the ultimate test for him. You have 5-minute episodes. What can you do with that? And what can you do with the Tenchi characters in such time? I can't wait to see how this turns out. My only reservation so far is the lack of the girls, but as Dagon said, it's most likely possible that they want to use these new girls on the forefront to show them, here's the new crew. These are the 2 girls. There may be more even. We don't know. We'll have to see. That will be joining on this adventure. It's going to be a little bit different from here on out. It's a reboot. It's an alternate universe. That's fine. They want to push them to the front to say, here, these will be joining you. Give them a chance. Give people a chance to see them with Tenchi before the others show up potentially. And obviously hog the limelight because that's what all the fans are looking forward to. It wouldn't make sense to call it a celebration of the series without, the rest of the cast, the people who made the series special to all the fans, not being there. That would be weird. So they'll be there, I'm sure. And we've got 2 weeks exactly to the day till Comiket shows up. I got a good feeling, especially since the series starts in October, that we're going to be starting to get sent a lot of information in the coming weeks as they try and ramp up, because realistically we only have 2 months until October, and I'm sure they're going to want that hype train rolling, so we're going to keep our eyes peeled. I'm sure we're going to find out plenty about this show in the coming weeks.
I think you hit on something right there, Nil. What's the last time that we had newer characters suddenly introduced into a Tenchi series? The result was unpleasant from the fan perspective. So I think this may be AIC learning its lesson from OVA 3, from GXP, and immediately before everything saying, oh, hey, look, new characters. Here they are. Here's what they do. This is why they're here. I think they've learned a very valuable lesson from just sort of dropping new characters in there and expecting people to instantly know them and understand why they're there and love them. So I think this is more proof that AIC is getting back on the ball. And I said it in the last cast that we talked about back in May, about when we just found out about Tenchi Muyo Love. They chose Tenchi Muyo Love, the name. They chose that name for a reason. It's because it evokes in people's memories Tenchi Muyo in Love 1 and 2. And the addition of Negishi onto that just completes the circle. Like that's what they're going for. So I think we've got good things ahead. AIC is put a good old hand at the helm, someone with years of experience and tested metal in this franchise, and they've shown that they've learned their lessons from some of the mistakes of the past. So this is all signs are green so far. So hold your breath, everybody.
Don't literally hold your breath.
Okay.
Damn it.
Speaking of Comiket happening here in the coming weeks, it's interesting to note that this time Kajishima's going to be at a booth where pretty much the sellers go, where if a seller has a lot to push, a lot to sell, they get special booths, and Kajishima's going to be at one of those this summer for Comiket. So it's interesting because, all this stuff with coming out now, we learned that Negishi is the director. We learned that the guy who did the character designs for Durarara is doing the designs for Love. It makes me wonder if Kajishima's gonna acknowledge this at all at Comiket this year, because he's never done that before. He's never done it with Universe, Tokyo, the movies, any of it. But now with this new series coming out that he's not a part of, other than being credited as original creator, original designer, whatever it is, he's got a special booth at Comiket this year. It makes me wonder if he realizes he's essentially been backed into a corner. He finally realizes he no longer has the control that he's been used to for so many years, and if he's gonna acknowledge this new series at all and possibly even talk about it in a doujin this summer at Comiket. Very interesting.
I think even if Kojima doesn't talk about it, I'd like to think he's smart enough to realize that getting Tenchi Muyo hype will help sell his stuff, even if his stuff isn't related to, what's going on in the anime, which I imagine is probably what's going to happen. He's getting a bigger booth because people will be talking about Tenchi, and he'll be trying to move his own stuff.
It definitely seems like he's going to try and ride the coattails, which, I can't blame him. I would do the exact same thing if I were in his position. But I agree. It's going to be very interesting to see what he says, if anything, come 2 weeks from now. So stay tuned, everybody. We might very well be doing this sooner than we think.
Hello.
Well, we are doing a podcast right now, JG. Do you have anything to say about Tenchi Muyo Love being directed by Hiroshi Negishi?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's to say the least.
Second.
And there you have it. Stay gold, everybody.
Stay silver.
Oh, dang.
Well, they announced they gave us our first glimpse of the new character designs from Tenchi Muyo Love. They are being done by the guy who did Durarara, and Hiroshi Negishi, director of Universe and the two movies, is helming the show.
I do love me some Durarara. There's nothing wrong with it. It's somewhat of a modern style. It's not really towards the CG side. It definitely is not as colorful or, bogus giant boobs like is, say, War on Geminar. It's a more down-to-earth, at least in Durarara. I've not seen any of his other works or the manga yet, but, it's more down-to-earth. It's got details in the background. It looks more like a living, breathing space, which I think would probably lend to Tenchi well, especially if they're doing it in a city-type setting, because that's what Durarara was set in, so...
You will be happy to know, JG, that the new girls do not, in fact, have gigantic torpedo tits.
Indeed, that's the greatest thing about the designs.
Oh gosh, that needs to be a bumper sticker. Torpedo tits not on board.
They're not.
Damn the torpedo tits.
Say Tenchi kind of looks interesting with his new kind of what was it, tie from Digimon style hairdo there.
As an interesting aside, I did some looking around on the Japanese fan sites, and one of them has all of the Twitter reactions to the announcement, and there is not a single person happy with this announcement in Japan.
Really?
Nobody is happy about this.
Did they say why?
It's not Tenchi. I think it was honestly a mistake to even introduce new girls in the first place, let alone lead with them, because this was the kind of backlash that was sure to happen. So part of the problem is you have the interesting problem of, okay, we want to introduce somebody new. Having a new person in the series isn't a new idea, like they did come. Like we had, OVA 3, we didn't even get Washu in OVA 3, OVA 1. In OVA 1, let me reverse that. In OVA 1, Washu didn't show up until the last episode. She barely got any screen time. More girls came and were introduced as the series went on. Very slowly, very surely, but there were a stable that was slowly built. So it's not an alien concept, but I think everybody is having that reaction of where is the people that we give a shit about, and I think it may have been a huge mistake to lead with these two characters instead of introducing maybe, have a familiar face, have a new face. Have a familiar face, have a new face. Just kind of repeat that until you run out of either familiar or new faces to introduce to the crowd, The vast majority of these comments that I'm scrolling through, it's basically just this isn't Tenchi Muyo. This does not look like Tenchi. There was even one person who explicitly said that he was afraid that the voice actor for Tenchi would not return because it just did not look like the same character. So that, you know, would they necessarily feel like the same guy would be befitting? And he was worried about that. There was one guy who said, I have known and watched Tenchi for 20 years, and I consider him a friend, but you, sir, are not Tenchi. The reaction is extremely negative right now, and it's so weird to see that. But we will have to wait and see, because as we've mentioned here before, this is still very early. You know, this is the first announcement that we have of what's going to happen in the show and who will be there. They have to give it some time. And of course, we can't make a 100% one way or the other until we see the thing for absolutely certain.
Well, if anything, and doing this announcement before Comiket might be a good idea, because this gives them a taste of what the public's going to say, so that when they get to Comiket and actually try to really turn the hype machine on, they know what to lead with.
Well, I think what this is probably going to do for them is their next announcement, they're probably going to go just full force with the girls then, because it's social media. Like, if everyone on Twitter is basically saying, what the fuck is this, where are my girls, they'd be stupid not to listen to that. So I have absolutely no doubt that the next little piece of information they get, whatever it is, it's going to take a backseat to introducing the girls.
And I would say it probably is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And I would chalk it up to what you said earlier, Dagon, of you know, you have that unfortunate thing where you kind of almost need to introduce some new aspects to it, like a new character or two along the way, you know, but everyone wants the same and stuff. Like, everybody wants the characters they know and love. Absolutely. I remember that feeling with Tenchi and Tokyo. But I think it's what you said, Dagon, is it's like, well, people are gonna you know, be really pissed off when we, you know, there's just people are going to have that knee-jerk reaction when we say, hey, look, a new girl. Hey, look, a new girl. I know that reaction all too well. It's like, no, get it away, kill it with fire. No. But it was either, I think, I agree with what you said, Dagon, they probably said it's either do it now up front, get that initial shock out of the way, do it now, or you have a Noike repeat where, and we're not talking about the character here, we're talking about, you know, a lot of that initial reaction was because there's so much emphasis on Noike and other characters that were not in the main cast, but people didn't find out that was what was going to happen until they were sitting there watching the thing and going, oh god, this is it, oh god, what, no. But here I feel like they're getting it out of the way. Here, this is new. Oh, I don't like it. I know. But, and then, you know, that'll settle for a little while, and then, like Pi said, further future announcements, press conferences, whatever, and then getting to the actual thing. And I hope the actual thing, there is going to be still emphasis on the main cast and the core of what Tenchi really is, because they're going to really need that too, because what they were saying was a bit of what my reaction was, is just like, I didn't have a hateful reaction like they said, but I see where they're coming from, where it's like, oh, this is different. This doesn't look like Tenchi. What is this? So they're going to need to focus on the core fundamentals there, going back to what made Tenchi 20 years ago, when your outward appearances and designs look so radically different than what we're used to.
And one thing to bounce off of what Nil said and to, you know, kind of morph into what I've been thinking as people were talking is, if these are the only two new girls, like the only two new main characters who are going to pop up, then I agree with, and I think it was the right, it may not have been the right initial jump, but I think it was the one that needed to be made, because if these are the only two new girls, the two main characters, not like background characters, because, you know, schools have other people, if they're the only two new ones, good, you got them out of the way. Now you can focus on the girls. Because if you would have done the approach where you had one new girl and one of the old girls, the old girls are still going to swamp everybody else, which again will take precedent away from the new girls. Now, granted, Tenchi is an old series. People want to see, and again, this is one of the problems with Tenchi not ending, is it's not allowed to be, it's not allowed to have a rebirth. It's not allowed to be something different, something new. It's not allowed to go anywhere else, because people are like, well, this isn't canon, or well, this isn't the Tenchi that I know. It's like, well, motherfucker, what that person who said, I've been watching for Tenchi 20 years, and this isn't the same. Like, have you really? Like, did you say the same thing with Tokyo? Did you say the same thing with Universe? You know, this is people having really gut knee-jerk reactions to it just because that's what people do. Like, it's not necessarily a litmus test to gouge what people really want, because they're going to be really emotional and not thinking clearly, like many of us in here are, about putting yourself in the perspective of the people trying to make this work. I think them leading with the two girls is going to be painful. Change is painful. But I think if they go from now on, and like I think they will, they're going to push the girls forward now, because they're going to see the outward, dissonance among the fans, and then it'll go from being, how could you fuck this up, to, they're listening to the fans. They can really turn this around and, use it to their advantage if they can be like, and here's the new girls, and here's what they're doing in Tenchi. They can really turn this around. Not to say that they couldn't have led that way, but I think it would also still give support to the other characters who they already introduced, because now the people already know, and you now have the old characters who people are coming back for, and then people will be like, oh, now that I've seen the new girls and Baby has his bottle, people will then be able to look at the new girls and be like, oh yeah, this new thing I haven't touched. They're such great characters.
I think I'll throw in my 10 cents is that I was going to say essentially the same thing Dagon did. Is that if they don't do something new, there will never be any conclusion, there will never be any continuation. It would be the same thing as if we took manga that a lot of people have found to appreciate and said, okay, you're going to go make 26 books or so on of manga, but you're not allowed to introduce anything new. No Mitsu, no other characters, no other stuff on Jiraiyan trees, no bodyguards, nothing new on the House of Jirai. This is your sandbox. Play in it. Have a nice day. That is stale. It will not work. Now, hate to say it, but the old way of doing cells is pretty much dead. It's too expensive. It's too work intensive. It doesn't happen anymore. So they're going to use CG. And if anybody that they're going to use CG for, you might as well use a big name. If you're going to try and break down a wall, why don't you use a big cannon? Now, Durarara, in the States anyway, was fairly well appreciated. It hasn't hit mainstream TV or anything yet. That doesn't mean it won't. It would be a pretty good fit for Toonami or Adult Swim, really, in a late night block. It would fit pretty well. And I also like Durarara a lot and found Bakano pretty interesting. But if they don't change up the formula, nothing's ever going to happen. So by fast forwarding a couple of years, that means they can go back and tell stories of the time in between. If they need to, they can do stories of the future as to where they may still go. We talked about characters coming in. Tenchi may be having to deal with these two other delinquents, which kind of seem a lot like his delinquents at home. And I seriously doubt that we have seen the end of the character sheet. There's only 3 characters on this website right now. There's more than enough space on that page to put about another 10 if we really wanted to. So, and there's other sections to the website that haven't even been put up yet. So, as everybody's mentioned, this is hey, we put up a website, do your knee-jerk reaction, but just chill. It'll be alright. The core mechanic is still there. We're going to get to see him in a new adventure. We've needed a new adventure. Heaven forbid we go back to Noike and company and start talking about Chobimaru balls falling from the sky. So, just everybody chill, breathe, and we'll be back to your Tenchi right after the break.
Ooh, that reminds me. Can I jump in real quick?
You're right here.
Tenchi is wearing glasses. Significance, while small, is amazing. It means he's not all-powerful. Think about that.
It means, like many people, he can't just wish his eyes to get better. They get bad, and he has to deal with it.
Well, the thing is, the glasses are kind of, again, I'm thinking of progression of character here. I'm wondering if they're trying to edge him more towards, again, being more respectable. Again, he has to be older to be a student teacher. And much like Katsuhito, Yosho, as well as Nobuyuki, he starts, they all wear glasses. They're all older gentlemen. It might be that, well, let's be honest, bad eyes run in families. It's very likely that Tenchi's going to have glasses before it's over with.
And
Also,
He has his mother's eyes.
It's kind of evident they're going to be fighting something too, because I mean we have the strength like an ogre with whatever type of flail or whatever weapon that is, and then you have Miss Katana there. So I mean, Tenchi's got to break out of Bakken somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that's another cool note. I forget her name already because I just read the article like 10 minutes ago. But the character with the leopard skin bra and pants, she's clearly looking like a traditional Japanese ogre. So that'll be cool because that harkens back to Ryoko's sort of original conception as the traditional Japanese demon.
Her name is Ko. Ko and Momo. Momo is the pink one, which I will have to say on that one, that is hilariously cliche. Do you know how many characters have like a Momo or a No-No name and are pink-haired? But Momo and Ko, I can deal with that. But it is very interesting that they have weapons. It's also very interesting that Ko, being the one with the club, she is the school science club bodyguard. And of course the first thing I thought of was maybe they'll throw another nod to Hayashi in there like they did in El Hazard, where they said, oh, you're talking to Hayashi from Science Club?
Yes.
he always gets beat up for his lunch money.
I'm kind of getting an Ike and Ryoko vibe from looking at the pictures anyway, because, I mean, you're going to have the straightforward, honest, and a strong sense of justice, and then you have the brave, taciturn, and wildcat. So maybe it'll be Tenchi's home away from home honeys.
Actually, that's my current running theory, is that this essentially is Tenchi's day job, and back at the house is Ryoko, Ayeka, or whoever else is in the house at this time. So I'm waiting for one in the middle of one of these 5-minute episodes where he's off on this field trip with his two students. He's going to get a call from home. It's like, Tenchi, where are you? You're what?
So you guys think it's gonna be they got the weapons obviously in these few pictures we have of them. So you think these two, possibly more, are going to literally be fighting over Tenchi?
Well, given taking a look at the way their clothing is set up too, this isn't a traditional school. It's not prim and proper. Looking at the weaponry they're carrying, it's also not prim and proper. Looking at the slits in their skirt and attire, we're also talking about what could be like a battle school or a school for the martial arts, which would kind of make sense if Tenchi's a teacher, if he's been trained by Yosho. It could end up being something like the others, like not Gunslinger Girls, but there was another one where similar premise, where they had girls with guns and you had another older teacher come in, and it was kind of like a harem thing. It was kind of funky, but my mind escaped me as to which series that was.
Kill La Tenchi, anybody?
Tenchi La Kill.
No. Oh, Tenchi La Kill, there we go, that's better.
It was going so well, Chuck.
You had to ruin it.
I blame drunk Spaniards and hypocritical priests. Was that it? That's our little update? We covered just about everything.
I just hope they're obviously going to be doing some kind of fighting, so I imagine either the head of the school or somebody like that is going to be the antagonist.
You mean we actually get a Tenchi series with an antagonist in it? My God.
Shit.
I like good villains. You like good villains?
I like villains.
I like villains that don't join the harem.
Oh my.
As I say, if he's a bad guy, if he is a bad guy, we've already made strides.
Want to see Tenchi laying the smack down on some Tenchi or school bullies?
Like, you didn't do your homework.
That's a peddling.
That's a poke into the head.
What do I gotta do to tell you guys? Do your homework. Jeez.
Oh my god, I would love to have a Magasaki and Tsuchido, excuse me, in the thing, just so I can have that line from the Tokyo special where they're like, oh hey, Masaki, what's up? It's like, oh, I'm just doing the thing, blah blah blah. And then, like, something happens, and they're like, oh, Magasaki, Tsuchido.
Oh my god, yes.
a battle's going on in town. Like they're on a field trip, they're all taking their students around, and some stuff's blowing up, and just Suchiro Amagasaki.
Yeah, I hope to see them, Magasaki too, and Kione and Mihoshi, like just somewhere, you know, cool.
Mihoshi gets a job as a teacher alongside Tenchi, just like she did in several different alternate universes, as well as when they went back in time. And Tenchi's always trying to make sure she doesn't not get to her class.
I'd actually thought about that in the thread for the show, that what if the other girls, since it is later in his life, what if they show up as teachers? And my immediate thought was, of course, Mihoshi being a teacher, as she showed up in multiple times, both in Tenchi Muyo and Love, as well as in Time and Space Adventures, with Kione being a teacher then as well. You know, that would be very entertaining, a way to add them in. Like, you know, the girls, the students are you know, they're crushing on teacher. They're hot for teacher, as they would say. And you know, what if the girls are also teachers at the school, and he has to deal with pressure from both sides? He's got to deal with the immoral implications of getting into physical relations with a student or with fellow students or fellow teachers. It could be an entertaining way to kind of put pressure on him and put him into some awkward positions. Not necessarily as awkward as making Makoto cross-dress and pretend he's a princess like an El Hazard, but pretty close.
Can I just nominate unofficial subtitle for this series? Tenchi Muyo, Hot for Teacher.
Yes. I got it bad.
The theme song can be Don't Stand So Close to Me.
Tenchi Host Club. Sorry.
I'm just thinking. Ko is supposed to be the guard for the science club. Who's the science club president? It's simple. Washu.
Oh yeah, of
There
course.
you go.
Oh my god.
Ryoko teaching gym class or something.
Washu's been a teacher before, not only in extraterrestrial bullshit, but in Pretty Sammy, she was Sasami's science teacher there as well. We have precedent.
See, you guys, when I used to be a scientist in space, I used to do this little thing called blow holes in the side of the wall. Want to see a cool trick? Of course!
They've got a new logo for the series, too.
Oh, really?
Yep, I saw that. It's on the webpage.
Yeah, it looks
Actually,
very
it's more
minimalist.
so, it's kind of on the Twitter.
Is it just the black one with red lettering?
Yeah.
Yeah, the block kanji for Tenchi Muyo, that's been done a couple times. I want to say it was done with Tenchi Muyo in Love, I think.
It was never that clean, though.
No, not that clean, but it was edging towards the block lettering, though.
We do have an air date.
Wasn't it October
That's
14th?
cool.
Oh, October 2014, but you also have a time stamp there, which it's worth noting that we're going to have some translation-y stuff to expound upon.
Does it say what channel it's airing on?
Tokyo Max.
Yeah, Tokyo Max.
Be interesting to see if somebody like Crunchyroll picks it up to sub it.
God, I hope so.
That would make this guy right here very, very happy.
Remember, too, they're shorts, not necessarily episodes. It's debatable, but we'll see how big it is.
I got it bad, so bad. I'm not the teacher.
Let the AMVs commence.
Fanfiction machine, go.
I will be the first motherfucker up with one. I will take the footage. I will splice it. I will do the work.
Muy bueno.
Stay tuned to Tenchiforum.com for more information on Tenchi Muyo Love, Tenchi Muyo, as it is coming out, because you know we will be on it like Cat Scratch Fever. I don't know. But we will be on it, and we will let you know. So if you love Tenchi, come join the discussion at Tenchiforum.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and every social media aspect you can think of, even Pinterest, which we're on now. Also, be sure to check out the Tenchiforum translation project of the Hasegawa novels, spearheaded by our very own Nil and Crazed. They will be having the second novel out in the next month or so. Until next time, stay gold.